Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. I am Bob Megan, and I'm your host on the Coronavirus in the Independent Retailer podcast. This is episode number 46. Susan and I were chuckling about it this weekend. We thought this podcast might last 3 weeks. Well, here we are a long time later. But you know what? We keep moving forward, don't we? We keep doing what we have to do. We keep hustling. I just love what's happening in this community. We had over 70 positive focuses. People posted their positive focus on Sunday in the Whiz Bang Retailers Facebook group. And, I've just, again, for the last couple of weeks, there's been this real sense of positivity that, okay, we're getting this figured out. Remember, we're entrepreneurs. We figure shit out. Things are opening up. Customers are anxious to see you again, get into your store, see you again. So good things are happening, and I'm so excited to see it. One other thing, so I'm going to go, I am not going to be intentionally controversial today, but someone, Leslie Nielsen posted on Saturday, I think, what are people doing about wearing masks in their store? And over 200 people replied. And I understand it's kind of a tricky subject. I understand it's kind of a tricky conversation, but I thought that I would weigh in. And I'm not trying to make decisions for anybody, but I thought I'd, share some perspectives and maybe help you think about it and make a decision that's best for you. When I announced that decision to talk about it today, several people went, yikes, and so again, I'm not trying to make this a controversy. I'm not trying to come out with an incredibly strong opinion. I'm just sharing what I think, and you can take it for what it's worth. I'm just a guy who has an opinion. Okay, so let's start with, one other thing. If you think that this conversation is important to a group that you participate in, or if you think that it's important to someone please share it. I mean, I would love to share it because I think this is a really important conversation. And again, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm trying to add some perspective to the conversation. So let's start with sort of 3 points. And the first point, and I think this is super important, is that every business is different. If you have a store in Brooklyn, New York, you make different decisions than if you have a store in the Copper Country of the Upper Peninsula, where they've had no cases right now. So every business is different. There's different store densities, right? If you've got a really tight store, it makes a difference. If you've got a giant store that doesn't have a lot of customers, say a furniture store or something like that, it makes a difference. Different geographic areas, I mentioned, different customer bases. So everybody has different considerations. When I'm talking about things here, I hope that you recognize that one size does not fit all, but being able to think about it in a meaningful, articulate way is important for everyone. The second thing is just because the economy is opening up does not change the biology, I think it's biology or the virology of this virus. And I'm seeing that happen a little bit. I know it's happening with me. We've been shelter in place for weeks and weeks and weeks, and now spring is coming and everybody wants to get out. Some of you are seeing record days because people want there's pent up demand. There's pent up demand for goods. There's pent up demand to get out. Maybe there's pent up demand to get into your store, but that doesn't change the fact that the coronavirus is still incredibly contagious. It can be spread asymptomatically, and it can be deadly. And all of those things are still a truth, whether we like it or not. And I know some people don't like it. I don't like it, but the biology is the same, or the science, the nature. Well, I should have called my brother-in-law the science to make sure I got those terms right. So I know Cindy Wells watches most mornings, and Cindy's a scientist. So Cindy, I apologize if I'm not getting this right. So the third and the most important thing, and this will inform everything that I'm going to talk about for the rest of this podcast, is that you are responsible for the results, for what happens from the decisions that you make. You are an entrepreneur. You own your own business. I cannot tell you what decision to make, but I can tell you that when you make a decision, it has a consequence. And that's what I want to talk about today. The decisions you make will have a confidence. A result, right? And that's what's really, really important. That you do something, something happens, and I want you to think about this correctly so that you get the best result for you. So that's really my main message when we talk about accountability. So if you choose to not wear masks in your store, there will be a consequence. There are people who will not shop with you because they think you are not being safe. On the other hand, if you wear masks, there will be a consequence. Some people think this is all a hoax. It's a sham, that it's infringing upon their rights. There will be people who will not shop with you if you wear a mask. That is a consequence. Costco is feeling some of that right now. There's a whole, albeit small and vocal, movement to boycott Costco. Why? Because Costco is insisting that people wear a mask. Just recognize that what you do, particularly in this emotionally charged situation, has results. People make decisions based on what you do. I'll tell you a story. This week I went into a local store, a store I like, a store I support. It's a small store, 3 people working on the floor, stocking the floors, not wearing masks, not wearing gloves. It didn't give me confidence. And although I have a special order coming in, my enthusiasm for supporting that store has been greatly diminished. Now, that's me. But the point is that right now, every customer is super important, super valuable. So when you make a decision about whether you and your team wear masks, when you make decisions about about insisting that customers wear masks, I'm not telling you the decision that's right for you. I'm just driving it home. Your decision makes a difference in the way your customers feel and whether they're going to come back regularly or not. So the thing that I want to say about this whole thing, because I see this a lot, and I've had this conversation several times, particularly around Sunday hours, is that there's a tendency towards confirmation bias. So you think that that people should be able to do what they want. There were a couple people who said, on the thread, "This is America. I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not making people wear a mask. It's our right." Fair enough. It is your right. You are an entrepreneur. You can do that. But there's a tendency then to say, "This is what I believe," and then your subconscious mind starts looking for reasons to tell you that that decision is correct. Confirmation bias. So you choose, I'm just going to use the example of you choose to wear masks, or you choose to not wear masks. Somebody comes in and says, "Oh, thank God I don't have to wear a mask here. I'm so glad you're not wearing a mask." oh, good, I made a good decision. And I'm just asking you to recognize that just what, because you believe something one way or another, does not mean that everybody else does. Does not mean that everybody else does. So, and I'm going to say that I believe from what I'm seeing anecdotally that people tend to believe that this is an incredibly dangerous virus, that it is not the flu, that they recognize that they are endangering loved ones when they are not safe. And most people are looking for stores that are safe. And so if you are choosing to not wear masks, if you're choosing not to make your customers wear masks, it is your right. Again, I'm not telling you what to do, but I am suggesting that you really, really look and see if confirmation bias is in place. And if you really do think that your customers are supporting you and the net gain from, letting your freedom ring is a net gain. And I really think that in general, the people who are playing it safe, who have strong safety protocols, are going to be the people that are going to get a lot more customers from it. Just my opinion. Just my opinion, and it is your right to do what you want to do. It's your choice. I keep coming back to that. It's your choice, but I want you to think about the decision you're making correctly. I'm not saying what the choice should be. I just want you to think about it correctly. If you're choosing to not engage in fairly strict safety protocols, are you alienating big swaths of your customers who will not say anything and just not come back? That is another main point. Not say anything, just not come back. So, the final thing that I want to say is, go back to that. So, all in all, not my decision to make for you. You can make whatever decision you want. It's your business. But I believe, as somebody who cares about the success of you as an independent retailer, that you will be better served as a business. Dollars and cents, customer loyalty, transactions, all of those things, you will be better served if you err on the side of safety. My opinion, your decision. Final thing I want to say and suggest, and this may be controversial, I don't really care, is this whole idea of we are a community of independent retailers. We are a community of independent retailers, and I believe we should be leading the way in making people feel safe. What I talk about is, I feel passionately that at the end of this, that the best independent retailers are going to be the obvious choice for people to go to. And I would hate to see people lose customers because they're being flippant about their safety. So individually, let's be the obvious choice. Let's lead the way on safety. And the other thing I want to say about it is we've worked too hard and suffered too much to let down our guard. So again, it's not about the politics. It's not about constitutional rights. It's not about how you feel. It's about the biology of this thing. And if we don't do what we can to keep things as safe as possible, there is a very real chance that there will be a spike in cases again, and our governments will be forced to shelter us in place again. And that would absolutely break my heart. Absolutely break my heart. So to wrap this up, again, you have the choice. You are entrepreneurs. You can do whatever you want. I just want you to recognize that there are consequences. Whether you mask or don't mask, there are consequences. Some of whatever you do, there are consequences. So when you think about the safety protocols in your store, and when you think about whether it should be just your staff wearing masks, customers optional, everybody wears masks, nobody wears masks, I just really want you to think about it not through the lens of how you feel or what you believe, but I want you to think about it through the lens of what are the vast majority of my customers thinking and feeling, and make a good business decision based on that. All right, everybody. So that is it for today. Tomorrow is Tuesday. We have another podcast at 9:30. By the way, if you hasn't subscribed to this podcast yet, you can go to your favorite podcast platform and subscribe at Coronavirus and the Independent Retailer. That is really growing. We appreciate that. You can also go to Instagram. I'd appreciate a follow on Instagram. So tomorrow's a podcast and a community forum. If you have any questions that you'd like us to address on the community forum tomorrow, by all means, we'd love to hear them. We'd love to answer them. Yeah. And good things are happening. Keep it up. I'm Bob Nagin, and we'll see you later.